Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Fantastic. So it looks like we're ready to get going. So I'd like to thank you all for, oh, excuse me. One more thing here. Okay. So, all right. So it is 2 o'clock. We are going to get going. So I'd like to thank you all for attending our Bachelor of Education Expo from Nipissing University in 2026. So we're going to go over this. So all of you are people who have been extended offers to the program. So this is all specific to people who have been given offers, and it's not like a theoretical like if you know what I mean if you were to apply or anything like that. This is for people who are to get information to make an informed decision about whether or not our institution is the best institution for your education moving forward. So, with that said, I'm going to get going into our presentations. Just 1 second. My apologies. All right. So there we go. And okay. So just to confirm with everyone, so can someone just audibly just let me know that you can see just the slide of Education Expo?
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right. So we're moving on. So the Education Expo, I'm going to begin with the land acknowledgement and treaty responsibility statement. My apologies. So both oral tradition and archaeological evidence tell us that the environs of Lake Nipissing have been inhabited for at least 9,600 years. This is long before the lake took its current shape and long before the French River flowed to the west. At a time when megafauna like the giant beaver, the size of smart cars, roamed the Mattawa River Valley, the Anishinaabe people were here. This presence should not be viewed as historical, as the Nipissing Anishinaabe were the stewards of these lands then. They are the stewards of these lands today, and they will continue to look over these lands in the future. European guests in this area were granted treaty rights under the Robinson-Huron Treaty in 1850, and these rights carry an obligation to respect the culture, language, and teaching of our hosts. It is the responsibility of all treaty partners to be stewards of the land and engage in behaviors that serve to extend the privileges we enjoy onto future generations. So I'm going to go over the schedule of a planned schedule of events quickly. So we're going to start off with a presentation from our Consecutive Bachelor of Education program faculty, Dr. Kristen Ferguson and Dr. Todd Horton. I'm going to follow up with a services presentation immediately after that. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to have an opportunity for a question and answer panel with the faculty, students, and staff from the residence offices, residence and practicum offices. So, some contact information that's pertinent to your journey into Nipissing academia. Excuse me, I can see that someone has mentioned that my notes are in public, and I apologize. Um,
There.
okay, but I can't see them. That's fantastic. Just give me one moment, and we'll get this figured out. I am so sorry. How's that?
It's back to notes again, Greg.
Oh, fantastic. This has been
If
giving us a
if
bit of a
if
hard
you look
time
up
for some time.
if you look at the top, it has display settings. I have the same thing when I have to do this, and if you
Oh,
go there, that might help it.
thank you. I appreciate that. I'm more of a Teams person than a Zooms person. I do apologize. Yeah, so that looks like that feature is not working for us here. Just be once I do this right. There we go. How's that? No, still not
Um,
helping us. Uh-oh.
No, no. We're gonna try. Okay, I'm just gonna stop sharing your screen for a second.
Okay, we're just gonna stop sharing for 2 seconds and we'll get this figured out. So I am so sorry.
While we try to get it sorted out, Todd and I can introduce ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic, Kristen.
Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. We have 136 people on this call, which is amazing. So my name is Kristen Ferguson. I am the Interim Associate Dean of Education here at Nipissing University with the Schulich School of Education. It's really our pleasure to welcome you today, and I'm here along with my colleague, the Chair of Education, Dr. Todd Horton. He can introduce himself in a minute. Just generally what I do on a day-to-day basis, I do a lot of the operational management of the Bachelor of Education program and some of the other education programs like graduate studies. I work closely with the practicum office to make sure placements are going okay, or if there's any practicum issues that arise, I work with the office on that. I also work closely with Todd Horton, who you'll hear from in a minute, about student issues in the Bachelor of Education or any faculty issues. But we also do a lot of operational things like scheduling, making sure courses are staffed and those types of things. So I myself am actually a graduate of Nipissing University's Bachelor of Education program a number of decades ago. So it's really a pleasure that I continue to work at Nipissing, and I've been here over 20 years. Todd, over to you. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks, Kristen. Yes, I'm Dr. Todd Horton, and as was stated, I am the chair of the Bachelor of Education programs, and I too have been at Nipissing for over 25 years, actually. And on a day-to-day basis, as Dr. Ferguson has said, we work on various issues related to students. We work on things related to curriculum and curriculum development and program renewal. And of course, myself, I am the liaison between the faculty and the administration, but also work very closely with students if they have any other issues, of course. So thank you so much for being here. We look forward to sharing a little bit about who we are and what we're about, and hopefully that will resonate with you. So thank you.
Thank you. And in our day jobs, I'm actually a literacy education professor, and Dr. Elizabeth Thorne Chair in Literacy. So I teach often primary to intermediate level reading, writing, and language arts education, and also some graduate level courses.
Yeah, and I also teach regularly as well, somewhat like you'll find in elementary schools where you'll have the occasional vice principal or principal that does teach a course. I teach history, mostly senior these days, but also intermediate and social sciences as well. So if any of you are interested in those teachables, there's a fair chance we will cross paths at some point in the future. And we all teach graduate courses from time to time as well.
How are we doing, Greg?
You are muted, Greg.
Okay, that's much better. Thank you. I do apologize for this technical difficulty. Just one more moment here. We should be figured out. Good. And all right. So now we should be on top like that. And ironically, actually, we've reached the point in the presentation where Dr. Horton and Dr. Ferguson were going to take over.
Yep.
Okay, so now we should see the screen as it should be, and the portion of the presentation that's going to be administered by Dr. Horton and Dr. Ferguson is upcoming. So I guess do you want me to just go through the slides for you? You can just let me know when you want to switch a slide.
Okay, go ahead.
Awesome.
Okay, so thank you for your attendance today. So Todd and I are going to talk about the Schulich School of Education. So we have been doing teacher education in North Bay for over 100 years. That's a very proud tradition that we have here at Nipissing University. We have a long history of excellence in teacher education, and we are well known throughout North Bay and the province. One thing to know about us is that while we are a small university, we are one of the biggest teacher education programs in the province. So education cohort in Nipissing is very strong, and our reputation is well known in the school systems. So at the Schulich School of Ed, your B.E.d degree includes a number of key characteristics and highlights that we just want to let you know about today when you're considering whether or not you're going to come join us at Nipissing, and we hope you do. That our program is strictly adhered to by the Ontario College of Teachers and also Nipissing University. So our program is certified by the College of Teachers. Every so many years, we go through a cyclical process wherein our courses, our instructors, our course learning outcomes are sent to the College of Teachers, and it's a very rigorous review process where they send external examiners and they talk to students, and they talk to alumni, and our program has been consistently qualified as a provider with the Ontario College of Teachers. So you are assured that you get a consistent and well-developed program that has been certified by the profession. So we're very proud of that. We are a very student-focused campus. And as Dr. Horton mentioned, you'll probably come across our paths. We will probably see each other in the hallways. We really do get to know our students, and students will get to know faculty, but also they will get to know staff. They will get to know student supports, getting to know everyone from the librarians to our food service staff. So we are a very small campus, and it's not uncommon for me or Dr. Horton to take phone calls or emails directly from students. You will get to know us. We are definitely not a school where you're just a number. We do have over 1,000 education students, but we have a very strong commitment to working closely with our students, and we are well known for our class sizes. So our class sizes in education are generally 45 and under. Next year will be about 40 and under. So we are known for our class sizes. Another interesting part about our B.E.d program, which we have some unique elements, is we have a number of core courses, which we'll talk about in a bit. But when you come to your Bachelor of Education program, you're assigned a division. As you know, you had to apply to a specific division. So you're primary junior, junior intermediate, or intermediate senior. And you'll take courses that are very specific to those areas. So for example, if you're primary junior, you will take primary junior literacy, which would look very different than an intermediate senior literacy, right? Teaching children to learn how to read is going to look different than what it would in a secondary school. However, we do also have cross-divisional core courses. So some of your courses, you will be mixed with all three divisions. So something like classroom management or curriculum studies, you may be mixed in with students that are from the other two divisions, which acts as a really nice form of synergy for learning about education in general. So we see that as definitely a highlight of our program. There are a number of professional learning opportunities at Nipissing. So not only do we have our placement, which we are very well known for, and our placement is quite distinct in that we do have placement across Ontario, unlike a lot of different faculties of ed. But we also have the federations that come in to speak to students. We also have the College of Teachers speak to students. We have a number of workshops that are offered by faculty and outside groups. So for example, one of our part-time faculty this fall did a presentation on what it's like to be a supply teacher and how to prepare yourself for that. For example, and I'm doing another presentation as the literacy chair, for example, with the Downey Wenjack Fund, and we're doing some work on residential schools, and there's a workshop that's upcoming next month about that. So there's lots of different events that are going on campus, and lots of ways for you to have professional learning. In your final year, we have elective courses. So there's a number of set courses that all students take. But if you're IS, you get to choose 3 elective courses. And if you're primary junior or junior intermediate, you get to pick 2 electives. Our elective courses can be taken in the winter term. They can be taken on site or they can be taken online. A lot of students do prefer to go back to their home communities and do placement and that last semester at home. But you do get a number of different choices, and we're going to take a look at some of those electives in a little bit. And as I started to mention, we have practicum. I believe it's 56 or 57 different school boards across Ontario, which is definitely more than any other faculty of education across Ontario. We also have some really unique opportunities in year 2. We have Indigenous school authorities. So for example, we have Nipissing First Nation School. We also have placements possibility in Ministig and also like Moosonee Moose Factory. We also work with a number of private schools in Toronto, such as Crescent School or Teach for Canada. So there's a lot of different possibilities with placement here at Nipissing. Greg, can you switch slides? Okay, so what do your courses look like? What would it look like in kind of a daily on a daily basis? So we have 4 terms of the Bachelor of Education program, and the way this is these 7 courses listed here, you can see the break, and there's a space, and then that is indicative of year 1 and year 2. So in year 1, you take Legal and Social Foundations, which is a very common course across faculties of education, which is basically educational law, educational philosophies, and other social issues in education. You take curriculum design and teaching, which is an incredibly important course. That is a lot of lesson planning and curricular theory. So that's where you would learn what a lesson plan is, what it looks like, backwards design, and how to implement that in a classroom, and basic pedagogical methods in that course. We also have a full 36-hour course in classroom management, which is probably more than you'll find at other faculties of ed. So you get full 36 hours in different classroom management strategies, how to manage a classroom, what that looks like, because classroom management is one of the key areas that we often hear from students about, or that students may struggle with on placement, because for a lot of students, it is a new skill, and it's a skill that's learned over time. So those are the classes that are core in term 1 in your very first, like if you came in September, those 3 courses you would be taking. In the winter of year 1, you would be also taking special needs of students, which is special education and inclusivity. And you would learn about things like diversity of students, as well as how to write individual education plans. In the winter, you also take assessment and evaluation and communication of student learning, which is, you know, I don't want to say marking, but that's looking at how we assess students, informative, diagnostic, and summative assessments, how to report that learning, things like report cards. So that's a really key course for you. And it blends very well with placement, because you're going to have to do assessment on placement. You're going to have to learn how to write rubrics on placement. And this course will prepare you for that. Then in year 2, when you come back in the fall, there are 2 foundational courses. The first one is curriculum design and inquiry. So in that course, it looks more at curriculum design from a broader perspective. So looking at long-range planning and unit planning. And there's also curriculum inquiry, where we have students do an action research project based on their placement. And you do some inquiry about who you are as a teacher and what that looks like in the classroom regarding curriculum. And finally, the last foundational course that take in the fall of year 2 is diversity and inclusion, where we look at a variety of different types of intersectionalities and how that works in the classroom, and classroom strategies and pedagogies to support diversity and inclusion in the classroom. Next slide, Greg. And I think Dr. Horton's going to take over for a bit.
Great, thank you. Yes, and as Dr. Ferguson said earlier on, when you applied into a division, whether it was primary junior, junior intermediate, or intermediate senior. Well, in addition to the foundations courses, which everyone must take, we have division-specific courses. So for the people who are in PJ or JI, there will be courses on all of the subjects that you would be expected to be able to teach, including math and science and music and visual arts and social studies, etc. And in there, you will learn a little bit of content, though there is some expectation that you will continue your own personal learning about some of those subject areas. But you'll be learning how to structure those classes and teach those classes in a way that offers variety, meets the different needs of different kinds of students, etc. For the intermediate senior folks, you don't necessarily have to be expected to teach all courses in the same way that the other two divisions do, but certainly we offer a language and literacy course with a grade 7 and grade 8, the intermediate focus, as well as a math course. We also have a special topics course around the intermediate learner, which is a broad-based course where you start to learn about this very, very interesting transitional period with young people in grades 7 and 8. And then both junior intermediate and intermediate senior will have teachable subjects. You get certified with a teachable subject. For the people who are in intermediate, you will have one. And for the people who are in senior, you will have two. And that will probably be a build on from your undergraduate degree, but it may not be an exact transition. So, for instance, if you have a math degree or you have a physical and health education degree, we absolutely have teachable courses in those areas. But perhaps your undergraduate degree is in psychology or in sociology. Well, then you would be taking our social sciences program, teachable, and learning about teaching in those areas as well. So we've got you covered in all of the subject areas that you may have to be confronted with on your practicum and then later on in your professional career. But one thing I always say to students is you're learning about the subject and you're learning about teaching the subject is a career-long exercise. We never finish. We're always in progress. We're always becoming in some fashion, and there's always something new to learn. So don't be terribly worried if it doesn't all come all at once early on. It's something that we all understand is a profession long process. So if you could move ahead for us, Greg, that would be great. Okay. So, as Dr. Ferguson said, it is a 2-year program with 4 terms, 2 in each year. And in the second year, we have some electives that are offered to students, particularly online in the 4th term or the 2nd term of the second year. Indigenous education in Canada is one of our most popular ones and is increasingly becoming very central to the program. I think it'll become more and more central as we try to meet our TRC obligations and make sure that we are working with our Indigenous families as well and making sure that they are included and that we all are learning about those areas as we need to. Educating young children in the early years is another big one. Environmental education across the curriculum, fantastic. Imagination, creativity, and education in the 21st century. And mental health, French immersion, teaching in Ontario Catholic schools. So for those who may be looking to go into teaching in the Catholic school system, this will be something you want to pay attention to. Technology-enriched teaching and learning, social justice and equity, and there are others as well. Go ahead on, Greg. That would be great. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Ferguson, and she'll take us through a little bit about the program delivery.
Okay, so our program is unique in that we structure our practicum and courses not sequentially. So in some programs, you'll see if you've applied to many programs, they have classes for so many weeks and then placement, and then the term's done. Our classes and placement, we like to think work together in that you learn a little bit, you go on placement, get to apply it, then you learn some more so that we have a greater connection between placement and our coursework. So if you look at year one, in term one, we have 5 weeks of courses. Sorry, 5 courses throughout the term. That's standard for terms 1 to 3. But we have 9 weeks of classes in total and 4 weeks of practicum. Now that is not 9 straight weeks in North Bay, as I just said. It's generally 5 weeks in North Bay. Then you go on placement for 4, and then you come back to North Bay for 4. So you're here, you're gone, and you're here if you're at a placement out of town. Then we have the same general structure in the winter. And then term 1 of year 2 is about the same. We have the 5 weeks of course, 5 courses again, 9 weeks of class, but that's split up. It's generally 5 weeks of class, then you're gone for 4, and then you're back for 4. And then term 2 is that kind of unique term, like I was mentioning at the beginning. You take 2 courses. Now, those 2 courses are condensed courses, and they're online or in person, depending on your choice. We offer both. And they're only 6 weeks long. So they are condensed courses. So it's a greater number of hours per week. And then there is a 6-week practicum course. So that is your longest placement that you will have in the B.E.d program in one, the longest time. I guess you'll be straight in a classroom. It'll be 6 weeks. And then once that is over, you also have the time scheduled there, but you can also do it in the summer that we're working on, that you're going to work on your community leadership experience. And that is a placement that is alternative to a regular classroom. So we have students often do 3 weeks in like maybe perhaps a museum, for a nonprofit organization, maybe an outdoor education center, those kind of alternative practica. So that's the general layout of our program. And if you accept the offer, you will get a much more detailed schedule that will make a little more sense than this. So you can go ahead, Greg. So here's a much more granular level outline, and you're probably squinting to see what is on there, and you find your division. So you can see that at the top, those are the foundational courses that all students take. That's why they span across all the columns. And those are the cross-divisional courses. So in those courses, you may have, primary junior colleagues, JI colleagues, or IS colleagues. Then you can see how it's split up. Then in year 1 in the fall, our PJ students take language and literacies. That's my course. They also take health and physical education. And they take French as a second language if you're in that diploma program, that degree program. And then the JIs would also take language and literacies and their intermediate teachable subject, just like Dr. Horton was talking about. So that would be whatever your teachable area is if you're an intermediate student. The intermediate senior teachers take their intermediate teachable subject 1, their number 2 subject as well. So they have lots of teachable time in that first year. And then if you're a science major, because of the way the teachables work, environmental education is also a required courses for science. That's a bit of a long story, but if anyone has questions, we can explain that in the questions and answers. In year 2, you can see there's more subject courses. Everyone takes special education. Everyone takes assessment and evaluation of student learning, but their PJs then take their art, they take science and technology, and they take mathematics, where our junior intermediates then take their music, their social studies, and their health and physical education. And the IS students take these really key grades 7 and 8 courses, just like Dr. Horton was mentioning. They take language and literacy and mathematics. Because at Nipissing, we firmly believe if you are being certified that you can teach grades 7 and 8 in any school in the province, which that could include teaching language and math. And we believe very firmly that all of our graduates need to be able to be successful and have some background in those areas. So language and literacies for grades 7 and 8. And then there's also that special topics course, as Dr. Horton mentioned, called the Intermediate Learner, where you look more broadly at what those years, those intermediate years are like for our learners. And then we also have our practicum in there. So you can see in year 1, you would do 8 weeks of practicum. Second year, we have our 2 core courses, curriculum design, diversity, and inclusion. And then you can see the subjects there. PJs have music, social studies, and early and emergent literacy. Our PJ students do get 2 language and literacy courses, as those are such foundational courses. And also Very important in our landscape of the right to read report and reading as a human right. Our junior intermediate students have math, science, and technology and visual art, where the intermediate senior students then focus on their senior teachable in that term. So they will do their senior teaching subject number 1 and senior teaching subject number 2, and they also get to choose an elective. So you get one elective choice that you will take on campus that term if you're an intermediate senior student. And then the winter, you can see that's very repetitive, what we just talked about, but you take your 2 online electives or on-site electives that are 6 weeks. You do your placement as well. And then we have some block time for the community leadership experience. And that's it for that slide, Greg.
Okay, I'll pick it up from here. And so beyond that, we offer a whole host of things that will be of interest to students who are wanting to feel as fully prepared as possible to go into the field. So we have a number of PD sessions and workshops that are organized throughout the terms that are made available to students to sign up for. We do have presentations from the teacher federations who come in and explain their role in the profession, their very important role in the profession, whether it is the OTF or the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation, etc. OCT also comes and makes presentations to you as well. And most assuredly, with the examples that Dr. Ferguson gave earlier, we have faculty members that from time to time will offer a workshop for students to take. We have the Teaching Hub, which has been renamed the Center for Teaching and Learning. And though the space has been transferred into more of a faculty space, that area is still there as a support for students as well to do things like one-on-one consultations, particularly between different instructors and those who are quite adept at course design and delivery, various teaching practices and strategies, things that are related to Blackboard, which is often the online interface that you will be using in your courses. And so there's opportunities to get some support there. And then finally, we do have an education technology lab. So there's a dedicated space for teacher candidates to explore student-oriented technologies that they may encounter out in the field and learn a little bit more about it. We have peer technology facilitators. So if you're not as adept at the use of technology, we have folks that are trained to help in that area. And these supports are there to help you be as successful and feel as prepared as possible. It varies from year to year. Sometimes there's more of one than another, but we'll make sure that you always get notification and instruction on how you can sign up for what may become available. Next slide there, Greg. All right. We also have a pretty vibrant community within the Schulich School of Education. We have a place where we get to hear from students directly about what their concerns are, what suggestions they may have for improving things. And you know, as an example, right now I have a group of people who are working on a report to the practicum committee to talk about a different way that we might do a portion of the practicum experience. This is all organically being done by students who are part of the Teacher Candidate Advisory Committee, or TCAC. And I have there's representation from us, from teacher candidates from each of the divisions, and we come together and we talk about all of those types of things. Really, really important for us to hear what teacher candidates are thinking and feeling about the program. We have things like the education band. We call it the B.E.d band. So if you have, emerging or well-developed skill sets in instrumental music, absolutely that might be a place for you. It's open and welcoming. The Near North Voices, of course, if you have vocal talents emerging and well developed, feel free to participate in that as well. We have an incredible outdoor environment. We are in the Near North, and so the outdoors is a big part of who we are and how we understand ourselves. Provides lots of opportunities to get outdoors and experience nature. We've got 22 kilometers of groomed trails. We have the Duchesne Falls and a series of trails behind the university. And we're having in the process of revitalizing our wonderful pond that is out behind the university, which makes it one of the most the prettiest settings that I can imagine. As stated earlier, we do have relatively small sections, 40 and under for next year, which is probably as good or better than most programs in this province these days. And we do get to know who you are. I make it a point to learn everybody's name in the courses that I teach, and certainly any of the students that I interact in other ways. That's not necessarily common in every program. So if you like that kind of environment where you're going to be known, then we would be a choice for you. And we've got a dedicated set of professors and support staff with hundreds of years of experience that they can offer to you. We have instructors who are currently in classrooms who are teaching courses for us as well. So you're going to get the theory, you're going to get the stories of those of us who were in classrooms over the years, as well as that immediate experience from instructors who are teaching right now. The support staff, they're there to help. They're there to push the program forward to make sure that things happen as they need to happen. And so that, I believe, Greg, is our last slide, and we're going to have a little bit of a question period. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yes. So yeah, we're perfectly on schedule. So if there's anyone has any questions that are pertinent to the faculty discussing or to clarify anything that was just discussed, now is the time where we would invite any questions that you may have. You're welcome to put it into the chat, and I can read it out to the group if you're not comfortable speaking, or feel free to. This is an opportunity for you to reach out to your potential professors moving forward. Yeah, go ahead. Let's see here.
Hi,
Yeah, go ahead.
Dr. Horton, pleased to meet you. And I understand that you're teaching the history teachables for the program. And I was just curious about what some of the themes will be in the courses that pertain to the intermediate and senior teachables.
Right. So I'm teaching the senior teachable. There will be another professor who will be taking up the intermediate teachable
Mhm.
in history. We probably will have slightly different ways of organizing the courses because we all are individual and we all
Of
have
course.
our preferences. But broadly speaking, I will be taking on the approach of teaching for historical thinking,
Okay.
which you may have encountered in your undergraduate work or in other circles. And we'll be looking at how we start to frame a course and then start teaching students how they learn about historical significance, how they learn to work with evidence, how they learn to work with change and continuity, historical perspective, ethical judgment. Those will be big concepts, second order concepts that we'll be looking at
Okay, thank you so much.
for sure.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Horton. So I've got a couple hands up. Madison, if you'd like to go ahead.
Hi, I have a couple questions if that's okay. They're quite quick. So from my understanding, I only saw that there was one additional course if you were in the stream for French immersion or French as a second language. So am I correct in understanding that in the first semester, that is when students in that stream would take the French immersion class? Is that the only additional course for students in that stream?
So that's a great question. So there's that course. We also have been offering special education in French, the same course, but taught in French if you so choose. But the other, I believe the other required course is the French immersion elective. So if you are in that French FSL degree program, you will have one less choice elective than other students.
Okay, perfect. And am I correct in seeing that? So since I am going to be in that French stream, would that
Mhm.
first year, first semester be 6 courses instead of 5?
We'll take an additional course, yes.
Okay. And then just one more question. The dates on your course schedule were 2025 and 2026. Is the schedule the same every year? So I can assume that those courses will be the exact same in this coming fall 2026 and winter 2027.
Yes, you can. Yes, next year will look the same as the presentation that we just showed you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Were you wondering about specific dates? The issue, we just to give you a bit of background, we're starting a little bit earlier this year because Labor Day is so late. Is that what you're talking about, the very specific dates? Or do you just mean
Not the specific dates, just the courses that are going to be taken in each semester.
Yes.
I just wanted to assure that they were the same as what you had presented on the screen as the dates. The years were this
Oh, I
school
see.
year.
Yep.
Yes, it
Yeah.
will be the same. Sorry, yes.
Okay, perfect. No worries. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Joshua?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. All right. I just had a more question. I was very intrigued by the CLE. Could we get more details about that? It just seemed very interesting to me.
Yeah, so the CLE, you'll find most faculties of education do have an alternative learning experience. That's a requirement. So we do have our clay placement, which we generally allot 3 weeks, but I believe it's 60 hours in total to complete your clay placement. So that is self-directed in terms of you do need to find a placement. We can help you if you don't know where to go, where to start. But students can go to libraries, conservation areas. We've had many different possibilities. Your choice does have to get approved by the practicum office, so that will all be communicated to you. There's a very brief assignment that has to be completed with it. It's a log of your time as well as a reflection. So it isn't officially a course. And we are hoping to be able to announce that you can also complete it in the summer. So that if you choose to do it during the summer as a camp counselor or something like that, then you will have met your clay requirement already, and you do not need the 3 weeks that we have scheduled in the winter. But we're keeping that schedule blocked just in case students don't have an opportunity in the summer or have other commitments.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. And then one more hand there, I believe, Rachel?
Oh, yes. So I was fortunate enough to get accepted into the junior and senior divisions. And I was wondering, like, how do I decide, like, which one is a better fit for me? Like, is there, like, any suggestions for that?
This is a Dr. Horton question.
Yeah, that's a super question. I mean, the intermediate will be the common element between the two, right? The I for each of them is the intermediate one, and the intermediate grades tend to be grades 7 and 8 and 9, and 10, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excuse me. Um, what I would say is you're probably going to be more well prepared and well rounded in JI as you go through that middle area because you are going to be drawing the very best from the PJ, the early elementary years. You're going to be prepping students to move into intermediate senior. But for those students who really visualize themselves working with older students who are starting to make decisions about their post-secondary life, post-secondary school life, you may want to lean towards the intermediate senior. The one thing I would say is whatever choice you do choose to make as you are making that choice, there are opportunities later on to learn about other divisions and become certified in other divisions. We call additional bachelor qualifications is courses that you can take after this degree. So no doors are ever going to be closed to you regardless. But yeah, it's a really personal decision that you need to think about and where you see yourself fitting best with those young people.
Oh, thank you
Anything
so much.
for sure.
Also, one thing that I'm really like quick follow-up, one thing that I'm really worried about is like my classroom management skills because I have tried to teach high school before and the kids are lovely, but it's hard to get them to listen to me. Um, would you say that like like who is easier to like garner attention for or like classroom manage, like middle school or high school, or does it really just depend?
It really does just depend. I mean, if you have any sort of interaction with young people, I mean, the 12, 13, 14, 15 year old period it's a real it's a period of real change in their lives. I mean, they're growing, they're changing, their interests are shifting, they're becoming more and more independent. In many ways, a young person who was so easy to sort of get along with becomes a little bit more challenging during those years. Of course, there's no question about it. And that may or may not change as they move into the later senior years. It does just depend. There's no magic bullet to make somebody listen and pay attention, but you will learn a lot of different approaches in our classroom management course that will help you along. But again, it is a lot of experience that you will get on the job that will teach you what works, what doesn't, with what kinds of students, etc. We're unique individuals, that's for sure.
I
Greg,
see. Thank you very much.
Greg, would you like me to quickly answer some of the fast ones I can in the chat? There's some
Yeah,
that are very
absolutely. So what I was going to suggest is that I've got a couple of members of our recruitment team that are looking at the chat for us. So a lot of the questions in there are actually going to be addressed by through the rest of the presentation, and are probably more appropriate to ask the representatives of the residents in the practicum office. But Dr. Ferguson, if you are feeling like you'd like to jump in, I would welcome the help. There's a couple hands up, and I just want to say if the questions are regarding the presentation that was given, then that's fantastic. But if it's about practicum or residence issues, then that I think I will wait till the end of the second question period to address those, if that makes sense. Cool. All right, Julie.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. I just wanted to ask about, I know the program is obviously very much based around Ontario and teaching in Ontario, but I was wondering if there were any opportunities, I'm a big traveler, to potentially go elsewhere, like abroad, study abroad opportunities, in terms of seeing how education works in different countries or areas, or if potentially maybe that 3 week like alternative sort of placement would be an opportunity for that. And then as well as that, just for that 3 weeks, you mentioned it can be done in the summer if needed. Do you mean the summer in between the first year and the second year, or the summer after the second year?
so the summer in between first and second year.
Okay.
And we do have an international teaching course as an elective. So that's a popular elective that many students want to take. As of now, we have no international trips abroad, but we have several domestic possibilities. So you can go teach, you want to go teach in the far north in the Arctic. That is a possibility through Teach for Canada. Or
wow.
you can, yeah, so you can go up to Musanima's factory, or there's different areas, but as of now, they're all domestic, but some of them might be of interest. I mean, we have to, for our required practice teaching days, they must be in Ontario. So that's sometimes why we have additional practice teaching days that, if you're up in Nunavut or something, that it can work. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Just for time's sake, we're gonna have to move on. I mean, it's fantastic to have such a robust number of questions being posed. If you have a question that wasn't addressed, there's going to be an opportunity for you to ask questions again later on, as well as an opportunity for you to reach out to any members of the recruitment team to get any answers that you might need moving forward. So if we don't get to your question immediately, it's either because we're expecting that answer will come up, or we're going to be able to address your question later. So just to keep us on schedule, I believe what I'm going to do now is move on with the services portion of the presentation. And then we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to return back for the question and answer portion or panel. So again, my name is Greg Cornby. I'm a university graduate. I explored the Bachelor of Education program and but I decided to take a different avenue for my career as of this time. And I'm now the recruitment officer for postgraduate studies here at Nipissing. So today we are going to talk about, a few different things. We're going to talk about some of the services that are unique to Nipissing University as they relate to the Bachelor of Education program. So we're going to discuss the Education Job Board, the teaching kits and resources available in the library, our student development and services offered, as well as some quick discussion about residence accommodations. So the employment partner page is really pertinent for Bachelor of Education students when it comes to the Education Job Board. So this functions as a centralized hub where Bachelor of Education students can research and connect with potential employers across the education sector. So it doesn't list individual job vacancies, but the platform focuses on curated organizational profiles, which allows for students to learn about an organization's mission, their culture, educational philosophy through overviews and descriptive summaries of those businesses. It allows for the Education Board allows access to contact information to initiate direct communication, ask questions, or inquire about potential opportunities. So this approach was really designed to help teacher candidates build informed professional relationships with potential employers early in their careers. The job board categorizes information by region, and which enables students to easily navigate and compare opportunities based on location. And there's three main categories of employers: Ontario employers, Canadian employers outside of Ontario, and international organizations that are seeking students to teach abroad. So it also offers some access to off-campus postings. But it really focuses more on job employer information rather than an actual listing itself. So the whole goal for the job board or the employment partner page is to ensure that there's opportunities for general networking resources, and students have direct pathways to discovering concrete paid positions beyond the campus community that help to bridge the gap between teacher education and employment. Our library is something that we're very proud of on campus. It houses a ton of different resources. So it's open 7 days a week. There's over 190,000 examples of digital and print media. It's got individual and study group areas. And one item I'd like to highlight for the Bachelor of Education students is the Treaty Learning Center, which is a specific area within the library that houses materials recording the 1964 Treaty of Niagara. So these are actual archive documents that must stay within the Treaty Learning Center. It offers, beyond that, it's a dedicated space for Indigenous teachings, sharing circles, smudging, research talks, and educational sessions. Oops, that's not what I wanted. So this supports culturally responsive and inclusive teacher education, and has hosted communal events such as the wampum beating sessions in past years. It's a space for the university community to become informed about the treaty history, review historical archives and materials, and build the knowledge base required for bridging understanding coming from different cultural perspectives. It really gives you a head start as Ontario school boards incorporate Indigenous learning outcomes and decolonial approaches into education and everyday curriculum. We've got 3 floors of books and print media, like I mentioned. It actually houses over 190 individual items. There's more than 150,000 visits annually through the library, and it acts as a true hub of the entire campus. There's silent group study areas, instruction rooms, and you're able to access extensive collections, technology, and they hold regular events such as therapy dog visits, cultural workshops, scavenger hunts, and late night study sessions. Another really big part about our library, which is probably also true in many other schools, but the interlibrary loan system is something that we're also very proud of. If in the event that we don't have a physical copy of a piece that you're looking for and another institution does, our interlibrary loan system allows us to obtain a copy of that for a limited period of time. The library also offers an extensive variety of digital media. We have access to extensive online databases through the Omni search engine, digital research guides and tutorials, and allows for remote resource access for distance learners if you're not on campus during your practicum. It allows for students to learn and research effectively from anywhere. I got to stop doing that. Okay, so the audio video collection is located on the 2nd floor, and it includes films and media resources that support teaching, learning, and student research. Streamed videos are also available as part of the library's diverse collection of information resources. Education kits are a unique thing that's offered by our library. So they are offered on a 28-day loan for any kits, posters, or puppets that are offered. So these are items that offer hands-on materials. So these are hands-on materials that are designed to assist with lesson planning. So they're supplementary resources for child engagement, literacy, numeracy, or thematic units. And it's particularly valuable to Bachelor of Education students who need tangible teaching aids during their placements. They include literacy and language kits, art kits, mathematic kits, science and STEM kits, social studies and Indigenous education kits, arts and education kits, physical education kits, early childhood education, primary classroom kits, and special education learning kits. And that's not everything. I couldn't quite fit everything I really wanted to highlight in that we offer, but another really popular aspect of the services we offer are our on-loan puppets, which are super helpful for understanding. So we can help to understand how puppets can confidently and significantly enhance a teaching toolkit and prepare you for a dynamic and responsive classroom environment. We've also offered the Community Scholars Program, which is a library program that supports community learning by providing nonprofit organizations with access to academic journals and research assistance, which expands the reach of our academic resources beyond the campus. Overall, the library offers a comprehensive ecosystem of academic resources, digital tools, cultural spaces, community programs, and student-centered services. So beyond our library, we offer a lot of other student development services. So our student accessibility services at Nipissing support students with permanent or temporary disabilities by ensuring an accessible, barrier-free learning environment. This service helps students, my apologies. So the goals of student accessibility services to create barrier-free learning environment with barrier-free learning environment with academic accommodations such as clockwork portal registration, document requirements, and transition support. Our accessibility training program is offered to allow counseling students and provides confidential professional mental health supports to students to maintain emotional and psychological well-being. And it helps students navigate challenges and develop coping strategies to succeed both personally and academically. Our student learning transition department supports students as they navigate university life by helping them build the academic and personal and professional skills needed for success. SLT offers assistance with study strategies, writing support, math and science, career development, and transition to support through different stages of your university life. So these services are meant to help students get involved on campus and develop the confidence that they need right through the beginning of their studies through graduation. Our residences, so Nipissing offers a welcoming community-based residence system that's designed to support both academic success and social connection. All the residents are fully furnished and are supervised by trained residence life staff, positioned conveniently around the campus environment. Nipissing offers 4 main residence complexes: the Chancellor's House, the Founder's House, Governor's House, and our Townhouse complex. The 3 houses, so the Chancellor's, Founders, and Governors, are suite-style residences, each housing students in up to 4-bedroom furnished suites with private bedrooms, shared kitchens and shared living rooms with 2 bathrooms. The townhouse complexes provide 6-bedroom townhouse units, typically for upper year students. Education students are usually placed in Chancellor's House, the university's largest residence, which houses over 400 students and offers a strong sense of community close to campus and city amenities. The front desk includes, front desk services include equipment signouts like vacuums, mop buckets, plungers, printing, scanning facilities, laundry facilities, and just general support. The bus services run frequently between Chandler House and the main campus, offering door-to-door travel. I would like to note that the spaces and residents are highly competitive and a wait list is in progress. Bachelor of Education students are invited to apply to residence, but we do strongly encourage for folks to evaluate all available options to best understand what housing needs will best suit them. Okay, so that is the end of my portion of the presentation. So I would invite you all to take a little bit of a break and collect any notes or questions that you have. Coming up, we're going to meet with some representatives of different departments within the university, so you get an opportunity to ask really specific questions to some administrative employees, as well as some alumni and current students. So I really hope that that you hang around for that aspect of it, and I will see you back at 3:15, so in a little over 10 minutes. All right, hello everyone. So yeah, we're back into the session now. If we're all there, if I could get just any kind of a positive affirmation that we've got some people joining us again. All right. Fantastic. Okay, so yes, I mean, we're really excited. There's been a robust flurry of action within the chat. Hopefully we'll get an opportunity to address all of these questions. We're doing our best as we can to answer all of your queries as quickly as possible. So if we haven't got to you, just be patient. We will get there. So for right now, I'm going to open things up to our question and answer panel. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Wow, what happened? There it is. So I will just very quickly introduce. So I'd like to very quickly introduce our question and answer panel members. With us today, we have Lynn Cote, excuse me, who is one of our practicum coordinators, Genevieve Zulak, who's the manager of Residence Life, Valerie Edmonds, supervisor of resident services, Melanie Brose, who is a current Bachelor of Education student, Taylor Wetzel, who is a former Bachelor of Education student, and myself, who you have already met. So I guess I will kind of moderate. If you want to put your hands up, I can kind of moderate the questions to each panel member. And if you'd like, I guess we can introduce ourselves if you choose as questions come to you, if that makes sense. Does that work for everybody? All right. So, yeah. Fantastic. So do we have any questions to start us off? Where there was a lot of questions about practicum and a lot of questions about residence in the chat. So if your question hasn't, if you ask a question in the chat about either of those two things, I would encourage you to potentially ask it now, or I can potentially go through the chat and see what I can find. All right, Madison.
I have a question about practicum and then a quick question about residence. So for in terms of the practicum, I have seen the sheet where you need to fill in like your top 3 school boards. I have 2 that are quite close to my home, so that's perfect. But if in case I don't get into either of those 2, what is the closest school board to Nipissing that I can like commute from the school?
Hi, everybody. My name is Lynn, and I'm one of the practicum coordinators here at Nipissing in the Schulich School of Education. Madison, that's a great question. And there are a couple of things that we ask our prospective teacher candidates to do when they're filling out their practicum registration form. One of those things is to ensure that you've chosen 3 boards that you have living arrangements kind of organized for, and also transportation. And with regards to the Near North District School Board and the Nipissing Parry Sound School Board, that are the school boards located here in North Bay and the surrounding area, they do have a limited number of placements available. And it has been it is often fairly challenging to place students in those boards. So we ask that most students fill out 3 boards where they may have family living or they have friends somewhere comfortable and safe for them to stay. And if you'd like, I can pass you over to Genevieve for your residence question.
Amazing. Thank you so much. In terms of the residence, so I have already sent my application in, paid my deposit. When I know there's like it's quite like extensive like to get in and there's usually like a wait list and things, but when is like the time, like should I also be looking for alternate housing while waiting for a response from residents? And if I don't get in, do I lose that $400 that I paid as a deposit?
This is a great question, and I'm hopeful that you will assist me by asking this question in answering quite a few of the questions that have been in our chat. So, truthfully, it is quite competitive. We do have quite a few applications already in place from returning undergraduate students and students who are currently attending Nipissing who will be heading into Bachelor of Education. The fact of the matter is we have a guarantee on our campus for first year students entering direct from high school. And so their deadline to apply is June 1st. So at that time, we will be able to know for certain how many students on the wait list will be eligible for placement in our remaining residence spaces. And that in itself might be perhaps a delay that is not comfortable to you. So some folks may want to start looking. We do encourage folks also to start networking with one another. So there might be other Bachelor of Education students connected here that might be looking for sort of shared accommodation, especially to share costs. And so it's not a bad idea to begin looking and also to familiarize yourself with the rental market in North Bay in case you do find yourself looking later in the spring, because it might take a little while for us to be able to offer sort of clarity about placement eligibility. Now, obviously, if you are interested in being in residence, we do encourage folks to apply early so that they can access the option of residence if they're so interested. But it does, like if you want to be on the wait list, the sooner you're on the wait list, the better. If you've already put yourself on the wait list, as you have, and you've made your $400 deposit, if you do not receive a placement, you would receive all but the $30 application fee returned to you, so $370. So if you don't receive a placement at all, and you, for example, find housing in May for August, and you want to sign on with that, if you withdraw your application, you will get a refund of that amount. Okay, but it does vary through the course of the process based on when you withdraw your application. So again, if we say, hey, we've got a spot for you, and you say, oh, I actually signed a lease 6 weeks ago, I just never followed up, you'll lose more of the deposit at that point. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to have Grace, and then following that, we're going to go with Alessia. So go ahead, Grace.
Okay, hi. My question is actually about the primary junior French as a second language program. So I'm not sure if this can be answered in this meeting, but I know it says on the website that students enrolled in this program are prepared to teach all subjects from kindergarten to grade 6, but then they'll be certified to teach French from kindergarten to grade 12. And I was just wondering how that works and how potential employers can tell that you're certified to teach French from kindergarten to grade 12 if it says PJ on like your qualifications are primary junior.
Hi, Grace. I'm happy to, oh, it's Kristen here. Sorry, my video back on. I'm happy to touch base with you after, maybe an email, like we could talk about it. I don't want to give you any wrong information, but from my understanding, FSL degree program is the only program where you do graduate with an additional qualification. That's why you're taking those extra credits. So you would be a PJ with graduate with already with an additional qualification in FSL on your
Okay,
OCT.
I'd love to connect with you over email
Sure.
afterwards.
I'll send you a message in the chat here.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ferguson. So Alessia, and then it'll be Tia following that.
Hi, just following Madison's question about practicum. Just as a student who lives 3 hours away from the Nipissing campus, in terms of finding a Catholic district school board, how does that work in terms of practicum?
Oops, sorry about that, Alessia. So there will be, I noticed in the chat that there is a list of the school boards that we have a affiliation agreement with. I suspect that the Catholic school board in your area could very well be one of those boards that we have an affiliation agreement with. And that means that would be one of the boards that you could choose on your practicum registration form to do your practicum in. And yeah, so there are definitely a number of good options there, but Catholic district school boards are school boards that we do have affiliation agreements with.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So then we're going to go with Tia, and it'll be Dia, excuse me, following that.
Hello. So I just had a question for kind of like residents, but also like the parking. My friend and I, again, we're hoping to like live in residence together. We both have vehicles. Is there like guaranteed parking for residents, individuals, or how does the parking situation work to ensure that we both can bring our vehicles and have parking spots guaranteed?
So, happy to answer that. There is not guaranteed parking for all students. Simply, there is a likelihood that more students will require parking than spaces are available. There is parking on campus for all students, but it may be at an alternate lot. So it might not be at your residence building. And so, what I would say is students are notified in advance of the opening of the parking application. And it's managed by our security and parking services office. So it's not actually, even the residence lots are managed through their application process, not through the residents, but students are notified well in advance. And even the residence office seeks to make sure that students are aware of the day that the application will open so that they can make their application early if they're hoping to ensure that they receive a spot. So the paying attention to your email throughout the summer and attending to those timelines, making that application promptly is your best bet for getting a parking space. And there isn't like a one parking space per suite or anything like that. Students
Yeah.
apply on a first come, first serve basis.
Okay, and then just because I was looking, I noticed it says you can register up to 5 vehicles. So because we have 2 different vehicles, would we each buy our own permit, or would that?
You must each buy your own.
Okay.
You can't have 2 vehicles on one permit both parked at the same time. It would
Perfect.
be, for example, if I sometimes bring my own vehicle and sometimes bring my spouse's vehicle to work, that then I could put 2 vehicles on my parking pass as an employee. Or if you were driving your own vehicle and then your vehicle broke down and a parent lent you their vehicle to use for a couple of weeks, you could then add that separate vehicle on your individual paid pass, but you wouldn't have 2 persons with the same pass. They only issue 1 pass per paid
Perfect. That makes
parking.
sense. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you both so much. Those were a fantastic question and a very thorough answer. I really appreciate that. So Dia, and then it'll be Julie following that.
Hello. I just had a couple questions about residence. So just to clarify previous question, we won't know, say I'm planning to apply to residence today, and I won't know that I could receive placement until at least June 1st.
Yes, that's true. It's not a great timeline. I recognize we do encourage folks to begin looking for off-campus housing. There are typically quite a few names that do come off the wait list at that time, and we do place quite a few Bachelor of Education students. But because we guarantee to first-year students coming from high school and their deadline is June 1st, we can't provide like final notice or begin to process the wait list until after that time.
Okay. And my second question is, say residence does work out, how does the residence payment work if the second term of year 2 can be done completely online? Is the payment installment for the full academic year, or is it only going to cover the fall semester of year 2?
It is for the full year in both years of the cycle. The reality is, because we are in a waitlist situation and many students are looking for housing, when you are competing for a place in housing, you're competing with students who are also needing a full year of housing. And so that contract is for the full year, should you choose to take it up.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you for your question. So next on the list here is going to be Julie. Then it'll be followed by Jenna.
Hi, I have a question about practicum. So for the 3 school boards, I was wondering, I'm in Sault Ste. Marie, and so we have 2 English school boards, but I was wondering, without being an FSL student, would I be able to do a placement at a French school board? I am Francophone, I'm just not taking that program. So I would be comfortable going to a French school board, but I don't know if that's allowed.
Hi, Julie. That's a great question. We would recommend, and we do not at this time allow our students to complete their practicums at a French in a French school board. We are an English accredited program. So that means that our program is accredited by the Ontario College of Teachers and the Ministry of Education, and we are only able to place our students in English schools. So you definitely would be able to put those two schools, the two English school boards in Sault Ste. Marie on your practicum registration form as chosen school boards. Then you might want to think about like extended families, good close family friends, or somewhere you might be able to stay in a different part of the province with regards to another school board area.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Julie. So it'll be next up is Jenna, and following that will be Alexa.
Hi. Yeah, I had a question about placement or practicum. So I was wondering, so I know I looked at the list of like all the school boards and but I was also wondering if it's possible if we have connections to private schools, if there's like a possibility that we can do our practicum there.
Hi, Alexa. So at this time for your practicums, you're expected to be placed, and you will be placed in a school board, a publicly funded school board here in Ontario. As I mentioned in my last response, we are accredited by the Ontario College of Teachers as well as the Ministry of Education, and that is an explicit instruction from them. If you should like to complete your CLE placement, your community learning experience placement in a private school, that is definitely an option. We have a number of students who are this year completing their CLE in a number of different private schools throughout the province. So that's something that we approve and just keep track of during the CLE process. And if you had any particular questions about particular private schools for CLE, you can contact the PT office at nipissingU.ca.
And it's Kristen. Just while we have you on, we had a question in the last half about international placements, which we don't have at the moment, but some of our domestic placements. Can you just tell us where Teach for Canada is placing students in the winter, just so we have an idea of how broad they go?
Dr. Ferguson, that is an excellent question. And unfortunately, I don't have that list off the top of my head. But if there is a specific question about different places or Teach for Canada, please feel free to contact us at ptoffice@nipissingU.ca.
Thanks, Lynn.
And we'll be able to provide any avenue required for contact. If anyone has specific questions following the event, you'd be able to reach out to the recruitment office, and we'll be able to connect you with whatever department or faculty member is best suited to answer your question. So it looks like I've got Alexa next on my list, and then following that will be Joshua, excuse me.
Hi, I have two questions concerning placement. So the first one was, when can we expect to, like, how far in advance of each placement will we know where we're going? Is it like a week?
Hi, Alexa. That's a great question. That falls directly under the purview of my position as well as another of my colleagues here in the placement office. So there are a lot of different factors that go into finding placements for students. Things like the division that you require: primary, junior, junior intermediate, intermediate senior. Our intermediate senior teacher candidates have specific subject areas that they need to be placed in. So that in that case, we're trying to match the different grades as well as the area of the province this teacher candidate is in. So it is definitely a complex kind of matching game, so to speak. So we get our placement notifications out to our students as soon as we get them. So sometimes it's like weeks and weeks and weeks in advance of your placement, but it could very well be maybe 2 or 3 days before your placement. We depend on a lot of different partners in our school boards, as well as associate teachers and things like that, in order to complete our placements and ensure everyone is placed. So it's really hard to say, but just know that our office is in touch with you throughout the whole process. Should you be a teacher candidate who is waiting until the last minute, or in the week leading up to your placement, we'll be in touch with you generally every day, and we do try to maintain that communication until we do have you placed.
Okay, great. And then a follow-up question to that, just to add to the complexity of everything. I'm located in southwestern Ontario, so the boards near me are just geographically quite large. When we give our 3 board preferences, like 1 to 3, is there a way that we could put in a note to say the geographical proximity is more important than the actual school board? I don't know if that question makes any sense. It's just that
Yeah,
those
it
schools
does actually,
are
Alexa.
pretty
It makes a
large.
lot of sense to me. So hopefully I
Okay.
can be helpful to you. So on your practicum registration form, there'll be an opportunity and a spot for you to say in what like city or little town you might be living during your placement. So that's information that gets shared with myself and my colleague, who are the practicum coordinators. We have that information on hand, and we use that information to place you in an area as close as we possibly can. We do tell our teacher candidates that you could be placed anywhere up to including an hour away. Truth be told, we do our very, very best to get you as close as possible. And it's something that we use that information about that you've provided us with about where you'll be living, so that we can hopefully get you as close as possible to that location.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is such an informative session so far. I've got where did my list go? There we are. Joshua, and then it'll be John following Joshua.
Perfect, thank you. My question was actually regarding towards the to Melanie and to Taylor, saying, as of course, former and current Bachelor of Ed students, do you folks have any words of wisdom for us just kind of joining into the program or such or anything? Because I'm coming from a completely different field, so I'd like to have any pro tips I can to prepare myself, of course.
I can start, Melanie, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I'm Taylor. I can introduce myself. So I graduated from Nipissing's B.E.d in 2024. And I'm actually back at the university as an employee now. So I chose to go in a bit of a different route and not into teaching. But one thing I would definitely say is to kind of be open to a new style of learning. Coming into the B.E.d definitely is different than what probably a lot of you are doing in your undergrad, depending what you're focusing on. Your undergrad's going to be obviously pretty academic. You're going to be doing a lot of research, a lot of writing. Possibly a lot of you are in the midst of a thesis right now, depending what school you're at. But coming into the B.E.d, it's a different style of learning. It's a lot more personal reflection. It's a lot more kind of that shift from being the student to truly being the teacher. You're working a lot more collaboratively with your instructors, if that makes sense. It's not as much of this like a professor's going to lecture at you for 3 hours. It's a lot more of the professors working with you, the instructors sharing their wisdom, but wanting to like learn from you as well, and coming back from practicum and sharing what you learned and see if that can help kind of guide some of their teaching as well. Just being open to that new kind of way of learning and thinking about education.
Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm in my second year of the program now, and I did my undergrad in biology, and I'm in the primary junior division. So it's definitely a bit of a 180 going from my undergrad to teachers college. But just adding on to what Taylor said, just the style of learning is a little bit different. You do a lot of group projects, a lot of partner projects, a lot more presentations. So I guess just getting more comfortable and familiar with that style of learning. It's a lot of group sharing and a lot of like collaborative work. So if that's a different style than what you're used to in your undergrad, that would be a bit of an adjustment. I think just heading into it, the biggest thing like I gained is like ask questions. That's like the biggest thing for your professors. And when you're in your practicum talking to your associate teacher, ask a lot of questions because that's where you're going to get the most valuable information, especially in that classroom setting, would be something, a piece of advice I'd give.
Fantastic. Thank you both for your answers and thank you for your question as well and being considerate to consider that there's others on the panel that haven't had an opportunity to talk. So I really appreciate that, Joshua. Thank you. So we've got John next and then Cassie following John.
Hey, hello. So I was looking at like say Masters for Education, and there's had like the thesis component and portfolio content at other schools, and I wanted to know if there's any like research opportunities at the bachelor's level to make us more competitive when applying to the Masters of Education.
Yeah, that's probably a me question. Generally, I'm going to be honest and say that your Bachelor of Education year is so busy with placements and classes that it would be very difficult for you to pick up a research assistant position. However, the vast majority of our faculty do engage in educational research. So I don't want to say it's not a possibility, but that would have to be a connection you would make generally with faculty or check out the student employment job boards.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question, John. So we've got Cassie
Can I
next.
just talk about our master's program?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you
My
are interested in doing-
apologies.
No worries. A Master's of Education at Nipissing University. Since you are a Nipissing University grad, if you do a Master's at Nipissing, you will automatically have one elective towards your Master's of Education degree, as the course you take in your second year will actually count towards a graduate degree here at Nipissing. So there is an incentive to stay here and study here after you finish your B.E.d.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ferguson. I completely forgot about that. It's a relatively new portion of the course, but I do appreciate you pointing that out. Thank you. And thank you for your question, John. So if we're good, I'll move on to Cassie if you still have your question, and then it'll be followed by Callum.
I have a practicum question. I was wondering if we were able to work at both public and Catholic boards. If we like did practicum, like applied for like both.
Hi, Cassie. So what happens is we ask you to fill out the practicum registration form each year of the program. And so depending on your answer, you'll be placed in one board, and that is the board that you'll stay in for that year. Should you change your mind and have a different idea for your second year, then you could fill out your practicum registration form and you could end up completing your practicum in a different board. With regards to working in a Catholic or a public school board upon graduation and completion of the program, each of the Catholic district school boards has a different application process, and they have different requirements with regards to their teachers. And so if you're interested in working in a specific board, you may want to just pop onto their websites and check them out and see if they give you information about teaching in that board, because each of them are different and have different requirements and just different background things that you need to have before you're working in that board.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you for asking it. We really appreciate the engagement. So it's going to be Callum I've got next, and it'll be followed by Emily C.
Hello. So I had applied to two different divisions, and I got accepted to one and waitlisted to the other. I wanted to know if I accept the one that I was accepted into, would I be able to switch into the waitlisted one any point after the March 9 cutoff date?
Okay, yeah, actually, I can answer that question for you. Yes. So, we were just working on a communication with our admissions team regarding that because it was a question that's been asked a couple of times. So the response there is that if you have been offered a waitlist spot and you accept the outright offer, we will still consider you for the waitlisted spot. It does not cancel your waitlist offer. That way, you secure a spot while we wait to hear.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, so thank you for your question. So that gives us to Emily C. and then Jenna.
Hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have two questions. One is super quick, it's a follow-up one. You mentioned, well, answering someone else's question that the first year you're at one board. Does this mean that practicum in first year is the same placement but just broken up into two sections?
Hi, Emily. That's a great follow-up. Oh, Dr. Ferguson, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Did you want to go ahead with that answer?
Did I read? Oh, you can go ahead if you. It is the same placement, but yes, in the first year.
Okay, cool, thanks. And then my second question is either for Melanie or Taylor, depending if Melanie has also reached this point in at Nipissing. Do you mind quickly talking about your experience doing the CLD placement?
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
can. Oh, do you want to go first, Mel?
Sure. I'm actually currently doing mine right now. So I'm doing mine at the health unit here in North Bay. So I was partnered with the communications department at the health unit with their Healthy Schools program. So I was assigned a nurse that's there, and together we tag teamed a pilot project for me to run through the school board here in North Bay. So I'm working on an independent self-regulation tool for students to use in the junior grades. So how that worked is there was a list of different opportunities that I could pick, and I selected the health unit, and then I reached out to them to kind of see what department would best suit me for this placement. And then once I was placed with someone at the health unit, we worked together separately from the university to find a project that would work best for this placement.
And I did mine at a private school in my hometown. I worked in their learning commons in their library. So I worked with one of their library technologists and then with one of their head of the middle school area. And so we did a lot of similar kind of lesson planning, but in a different setting than I had been in the public school system.
Yeah, and there's tons and tons of different things you could do. Like one of my friends is working at an after-school music program. Another one's working at One Kids Place here in North Bay. So it's like a youth center that they're working with kids with that. So there's lots of different opportunities that you can find to kind of suit what your interest would be.
Fantastic. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to step in really quickly. I've noticed in the chat there's several questions about practicum and the Catholic School Board. I was wondering if Lynn, you'd want to speak to that briefly, just because it seems to be a consistent topic coming up.
Yes, I can definitely try to answer that question. So if you're seeking to complete your practicum in a Catholic school board, a lot of the boards or each of the boards have different requirements with regards to pastoral references and things like that. So in my opinion, you would probably be best to send us a email at ptoffice@nipissingu.ca. We'd be able to let you know if there's a particular board you're interested in, if they have specific requirements. That way it'll help you narrow things down when you're picking your boards. Each board has different requirements, and some boards are a little more strict about them than others and things like that. So we would have an idea for you about the specific board.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm getting that it sounds like it's a very much a case by case depending on the board that you're looking to work with. Is what I'm getting there. Okay, so moving from there, I believe Jenna has another question.
Yes, I have two
Awesome.
questions. So one is residence and one is back to the school board practicum stuff. So first the residence. So I haven't officially like accepted my offer yet to Nipissing. I'm just waiting to hear back on other things and weighing my options, all that jazz. But
Absolutely.
I know that the residence is you said it's very competitive. So am I able to apply right now then, even though I haven't even accepted my offer yet, just to make sure that I have like, you know, my hat in the ring for residence?
So sorry, you can apply now. You are eligible to apply now, and then whatever the waitlist opportunity becomes available, you can like let us know, or sorry, you may have the opportunity to be placed. If you do decide to withdraw your application at any point along the way, you are eligible um uh for a refund on your deposit. Forgive me, I might not have heard the end of your question. I had a little bit of interference. Um, did I answer your question fully, or was there another part?
Yeah, no, that was basically it. I was just wondering if like I haven't accepted my offer yet, if I can still apply for
You
residence.
can, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. Awesome. And then yeah, I just wanted clarification on the practicum, like the board stuff. So technically, the closest board to me in my hometown is the Niagara Catholic School Board, because I believe there wasn't a public one. Um, so I know that for public school systems, there's usually like a process or whatever, like you said, to actually teach there. So, but does that also apply to if we want to do our school board placements there? So like I plan on teaching in like a public system, so I won't be getting like I know there's sometimes like letters from the Pope or whatever. But we
Oh
we
boy,
don't
the
need that.
Pope.
Or not the Pope.
No, no,
Sorry, I'm
No,
thinking
I
of
love it. I
It
actually
might be
love that.
tricky to get a hold of him. No, Jenna, thanks for clarifying. That's great. No, so in the public school boards, there are generally different training sessions as well as we have specific requirements as well as the province and the schools with regards to PVSCs. There's generally some health and safety training that the boards request. And all of that information will be shared with you as soon as we get it from the boards, because it sometimes changes from year to year. Different school boards ask our teacher candidates to complete different training in advance of them starting their placement. With regard to the Catholic schools, as I was saying earlier, each of the Catholic school boards has their own specific requirements. Some of them ask for a pastoral reference, some of them do not. So, depending on the specific school board, and you can always send us an email and ask about specific school boards and their requirements in the Catholic school board system. I hope this isn't too kind of roundabout and complicated, but truthfully, if you have different boards that you're interested in and you're asking specifically about their requirements, feel free to send us an email and we'll be able to answer those questions directly to you.
Fantastic. Um, Okay, looks like I have one more hand up here. Oh, maybe a couple more. We're getting to the end. I'm more than comfortable sticking around, but I can't guarantee that for any commitment beyond 4 p.m. for any of my colleagues. But it looks like Dia still has a question. Alexa and Madison still have some inquiries.
Hello.
Hi.
I actually had a question about the about classes specifically that I've read many instructors are actively teaching. So classes take place during the evenings. So typically what time, if you can, would classes start and end? And does that vary per course depending on the instructor's personal schedule, are also that would be some in the morning and afternoon as well? Or are they typically all scheduled in the evening?
Yeah,
Sort
so
of
this
just
is
for transportation, just how days would be sorted and such.
Yeah,
Great
so
question.
your schedule is a great question. We do have a number of teachers who are active teachers, of course, in the school system, as well as a mix of full-time faculty. Your courses can be scheduled anywhere between 8:30 and 8:30 p.m. We do try to make it so it's most convenient for like having a good schedule. So if you're here, you're here, but there may be breaks in between classes. You do need to be prepared though to be like a full-time student, and that classes can occur anytime between those hours.
Thank you for that. And I know it was touched on in a previous couple of questions that placements within the two placements within year one would typically be placed within the same board and with the same um, associate teacher. So does that mean in year two we could end up at a different board than we were in year one entirely?
So you won't end up at a different board unless you request that in your practicum registration form. So we ask our teacher candidates to fill out their practicum registration form before first year and before second year. And if you have identified the same board and the same choices, I'm sure Dr. Ferguson has mentioned that it is our endeavor to ensure students get their first choice, but it cannot be guaranteed. And that's why we ask you to make 3 choices where you have accommodations as well as transportation available to you. But generally, I would say most teacher candidates are placed in the boards. If you request one board one year and you request that board again next year, and that's where you've completed your placement, you are placed back in that board.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for your question. And then I've got just one question left. Alexa, take it away.
Hi, so I had a question. This is more so pertaining to OCT certification as well as the math proficiency test we'll be having to take. I was just wondering how much if that is facilitated by you guys, and how much do we do on our own in terms of like contacting the OCT to set up certification and like to set up a time to take the math test and whatnot.
Yeah, so the math test is actually administered by EQAO, the same organization that does the grade 3, 6, 9, and 10 math testing in Ontario. So you will have a math class regardless of division. They will definitely talk about the test. We also send out more information about the test. So you will have lots of communication about how and when you can take the test through EQAO, and it's an online test.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Ferguson. And I really appreciate you all taking the time to stick around and ask so many questions. It's been helpful to both the asker of the question and to anyone who's still hanging around. So we are at the end of the expo now, and I just wanted to point out for anyone who's still here and is interested that we'll be hosting additional tours of the campus next week over Reading Week. So you would begin your tour at the blue circle on the screen, and then you would have opportunities to tour all the buildings circled in red, both the library, the education center, the athletic center, the education center, and the library, as well as there's going to be available tour of residence as well, so you can see where you would be living. Beyond that, our open house, for our March open house, is going to be held on March 14th, 2026. And if you're still weighing your decision, it's a great opportunity to come to the campus itself, see the facilities, do the whole touchy-feely idea of exactly what life is going to look like, and get experience with our facilities and services in person. So I want to thank you all for attending the B.E.d Expo 2026. I think that we were able to relay a lot of information, and I really hope that you all leave today with enough information to make an informed decision about Nipissing, whether Nipissing Bachelor of Education program is right for you. So thank you for coming, and I wish you all a fantastic long weekend.
Eileen, if you wanted to stay on after, I can talk to you. There's a question in the chat that was long. I just would be easier.
Yep, absolutely. I'm not going to run away at this moment either. I'm going to make sure that we've addressed all the questions that are there, and that anyone feeling that they need any extra attention, I'm more than willing to make sure that they get it. I just wanted to close it out for anyone who was wanting to move on. Wow, 25 chats. Look at that.
Yeah, it was Eileen who had a long question. Happy to stay on.
Hi,
And if Grace,
do I get to speak now?
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. More than welcome to speak.
If Grace is still on the call, I will email you back, I promise. Oh, there's Grace. She's still here. I got your email. I will email you back.
Yeah, so I am trying to weigh my options for JI and IS, and like ultimately my goal is to become a guidance counselor at a high school setting. But then my worries is that might take too long, because right now I have some friends who graduated from teachers colleges last year with an OCT, and they struggled to land a permanent position. And I think I heard from like a grapevine that I require some previous classroom settings to be qualified for a guidance counselor in addition to taking AQs. So I'm just wondering if it would be a wiser choice to begin as a JI to begin with JI division and then take additional qualification courses to move my way up, and just wondering how that like career tree would look like.
Yeah, it is totally your call. And someone asked Dr. Horton that at the beginning of the meeting. The training will be definitely different. If you're a JI student, you will get training in every subject. So everything from music to art to science, literacy, you get everything. If you're in IS, you really get your teacher subject, your two subjects plus literacy and math. There really is no right or wrong way. Like as soon as you graduate, you can take an ABQ. So you graduate in the spring, do your ABQ in the summer. And then by like early fall, you'll have your ABQ for senior, for example, if you were in JI. That's not uncommon. So it's not a final, like it's not you can do these additional qualifications quite quickly. The only thing you need to be sure is that you do have enough for the teachable credits. And they're generally about the same across universities, but not all universities will have the same ABQs offered. So I believe someone asked specifically about computer science. That's not one that we have had at Nipissing for a while. So you might have to go to a different university to do that, but you are free to do that after graduation. I mean, we love it when you take courses with us, of course, but if you choose to, or you need to go somewhere else for a different teachable, then of course you can do so. But it really is your own decision what you want to do. It's not a career life choice that, if you did your initial teacher certifications, you're really stuck with it. You do have a lot of flexibility to take your ABQs. So for example, me, I graduated as a primary junior student. In the spring, I took senior English, and then the following fall, I took intermediate English. So I'm K-12 qualified, but it didn't quite go in that linear way.
Okay, and how does the career support team provide assistance for like soon-to-be graduates and
Yeah, so Greg, to talk about the job board and the employer network is a really great resource that you can definitely work with. truthfully, placements are a great experience in making those connections and talking to principals and talking to your different teachers on placement and your school boards. People forget that placement is a course and it's a part of the experience. So that really is a helpful support. But we do have our student service department, which we're very well known for. So you can always drop in there and talk to advisors as well.
Okay. Also, I asked if what like the music training would look like. So, are there any staffs here that that's involved in music courses?
Yeah, so we have a full-time tenure track music education specialist. We also have a very experienced instructor who teaches our senior music. She's been doing it, I believe, over 20 years. Prior to that was a band conductor for 30 years, 35 years, not an exaggeration. So yes, we do have an extensive music education department. We have the B.E.d band, which acts as almost like a lab for our senior music students, where they get more conducting experiences. They can work on their second and third instruments and all those fun things. They have concerts. So our music teachable is definitely a very active teachable.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I don't recall the order that the hands came up, and I think Rachel was first, I believe.
Oh, hi. So I asked this in the chat too. I was just wondering if there would be any repercussions if, say, oh, never mind, they answered it. Okay.
That one got taken care of. It was a great question. Really appreciate that. I mean, it's a question I've gotten talking with other potential students as well. So I appreciate you asking it.
Oh, all right then. Also, like for the alternative education, you said that if you say worked as a camp counselor for a summer camp, then you got the credit. So if I like say if I have the credit, then do I not have to complete the
No.
in-school class, or do I still have to do it? It's just an extra consideration.
No, so when the community experience learning placement we'd be taking into account once you get here, nothing before year before I believe it's June 1st of when you're going into your second year would count. So it would have to be between what's happening between your years 1 and 2, and it would have to be pre-approved by the practicum office. It's not something you can do ahead of time.
All right, thank you so much. And also like I'm a little confused if this is related, but I was thinking of taking like a TESOL, like an additional certification to teach ESL. Is that like a course you guys offer here, or do I take that outside of the program?
The official TESOL would be outside of the program. We do offer electives in ESL, but they do not lead to a certification in that way, and they are not an AQ either. It's just an elective undergraduate course.
All right, got it. Thank you so much. That is all.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like I've got Alexa next, and then Carrie.
Hi again. This might be a bit of a weird question. On my practicum list, I put down two of the schools I put down was the TDSB and Thames Valley as well. So I am aware that I know there's like some stuff going on with those boards with just like board supervision and like that type of stuff. And I was just getting a little bit paranoid if that would impact my placements or if like placements could get canceled. It's just like I just have to ask for peace of mind.
Yeah, we've never had a placement canceled because of that. Even our local school board here has been taken over by the province in North Bay. So no, I would say that's not an issue at all.
Okay, thank you. And thank you guys for staying longer and answering questions.
Oh, you're welcome. It's great to talk to students.
Yeah, this is what we're here for. This is it's kind of what we live for. Now I've got two more questions, Carrie and then May following Carrie.
Hi, thank you so much for this information session. I just had a question about the PJFSL program, and for placements, I was wondering if there is like an effort to place these students in French immersion classrooms, even like within English school boards.
100%. So yeah, that's a great question. So yes, as you're an FSL or a teachable, you would still be placed in English school, but teaching French. So it could be a French immersion, that's very common, but also core French can be common too, right? Getting placed with a core French teacher in an elementary school.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yes, definitely. That would, if you were an FSL, I would absolutely be a priority to get you at least one FSL placement.
Awesome. Does that answer your question, May?
Yeah, my question's answered. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then looks like we've got Matthew to finish us off.
Hello, I was just
I'm so
wondering if I
sorry.
could.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I couldn't see if Carrie was still there. I thought that she was gone, and then I thought she was there, so I didn't want to skip over her. But go ahead, Matthew. If Carrie's still around, we'll get to her after.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just trying to figure out the residence stuff. I'm just finishing up my fourth year at Algoma U, and then I'm going to be going into the Bachelor of Education program. So my understanding is I would not be considered a first year student with you guys, or
Sorry, I did clarify earlier, Matthew. When we speak of first year students, we typically say direct from high school. A couple of times I mentioned it today. First year students direct from high school. I apologize if there was a time when I mentioned it where I just said first year students, but the guarantee for residence placement is first year students direct from high school.
okay. Yeah, no, I was just curious because I've never lived by myself or anything, so I'm not used to that at all. So I was hoping to get into residence. I've already paid my $400. Do you know when about I would hear? Like when I would hear if I get accepted?
So context for the status of the wait list is typically discerned in the beginning of June. So those first year students direct from high school are we get sort of clarity about that number when their application deadline rolls around, which is June 1st. And then typically within about a week of June 1st, we are able to make some waitlist offers and be a little bit clearer with folks about their standing in the waitlist process. We have people who are like effectively on the waitlist beginning in March. Like that's when we'll announce to applicants who are currently on the roster, which ones maybe have a placement guaranteed to upper year students, and then which ones end up on the wait list for like until June. But in that time, there's often fluctuation. So there are folks who maybe find off-campus housing with their selected roommates or things like that. And so if in March the wait list is 300 people, by June it might be 250, or it might be there is, but then there might also be new additions, but it doesn't mean that your eligibility hasn't moved up in the list. So we just don't have a clear picture of sort of your standing on the list until we know how many placements we can offer to additional students in early June. And then from there we can be clearer with folks about sort of their eligibility or where what they might wish to look for off-campus housing. So we do encourage folks sort of always to be keeping an eye on the off-campus market, and maybe networking with other Bachelor of Education students about potential housing if there are sort of groups or connections that are available to you with other Bachelor of Education students. Often folks look for housing together, and then there are also folks who post through some of our networks online for looking for roommates for other students to house with, and so there are some options to sort of keep your options open for the time being. But like I said, June will be the time that we get a clearer picture of sort of next stage of eligibility for folks who are applying now.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, it looks like unless Carrie, are you still there? I noticed you were just in the chat.
Hi, sorry, no, it was my question that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My apologies. Yeah, go ahead.
Carrie's question was about the FSL program. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. I got a little mixed up
No
there.
problem. So I was just wondering, so I've accepted my offer into the junior intermediate division, and my teachable was for the French as a second language. So I was wondering, is there anywhere where we could find like a bit more like detailed and like course specific like schedule for what our courses would look like? And also, as we mentioned before, the additional course that the French as a second language people have to take. Could you explain a bit more into that and like what that is about?
Okay, so if you are a JI student with a French teachable, you do not take that extra credit. That is
Oh,
only PJ. It's a different degree that they end up
oh, I
with.
see, I see, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So you would, everything we went through on the slides, the courses you would take, that would all be the same for you with a teachable in JI French. Your teachable would just be the JI French scheduled in year 1. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Sorry for the confusion.
No, absolutely. All right. So I think that we are at a point where we've managed all the questions that have been asked to this point. So I want to thank everyone for your effort, for your additional effort after the expected time period. To my colleagues, I really appreciate it. To both Taylor and Mel, I appreciate that you attended. I know you didn't get a ton of questions, but your presence was definitely helpful, and we definitely appreciate it. So with that, I think that we'll close it down. Does that sound okay for everyone here? We're good? Yay. Okay. So again, I appreciate it. If any of the students are still on, we're going to leave the chat open for a few extra minutes. You can, if you have additional questions didn't get a chance to ask, you can reach out to us at nuinfo@nipissing.ca, and I'll put that into the chat as well. So I appreciate you all attending. Thank you, and I hope to see you all in the next couple of years.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.